So I had a few negative experiences in the past couple of videos because of audio issues, and they ended up not recording the audio, so now I have to figure out if to voice them over or to reshoot them. But one thing I cannot reshoot are the unboxing of swords, so I hope this one is going to turn out with decent audio and usable. So here you see a rather big box compared to some of the previous ones we unboxed, and that is because there's quite a few things in here. There are a few swords and some books. And beyond trying to maintain the surprise of what I'm unboxing, I actually don't really know myself, and that's because they've been sitting around for a while. It took some time for me to arrange the delivery after I bought them quite some time ago. And then after they were delivered, it took me some more time to go pick them up. So actually, thank you, Jelle, for holding on to them for this time. And now I finally have them here. But especially when it comes to the books, I don't really remember what it was that I got in the lot. So we'll discover together. And I actually think this is one of those unboxings that may be easier with the box off of the table, because it's really big and really full. Okay, so hopefully through the magic of editing, you will have been spared the whole noisy unwrapping of the box and all the paper and everything, but here are the packs that were inside. So we have 1, 2, 3, one big book here, and then a couple more here. So 6 packs of books, and then 3 sword packages. So we'll soon find out what's inside of each. I think we'll start with the books, because actually they're the ones I remember the least what they are. So, and if I remember correctly, it was an interesting lot of books, so I hope you'll be interested as much as I am. Feels a little bit like an early Christmas here. And what we have here is this. Art and the Sword, Volume 1. This was for a really good price, and it seems like it's a print out of a typewriter written book. As you can see, the font is the typical typewriter one. So I don't know exactly what this is, but as I recently bought the Wakizashi, I wanted to pick up some literature about Japanese books. You see this one has some really cool imagery and like schematics of blades. So hopefully this is going to be interesting. I don't remember if I got Volume 2 or if it was available even. So in the meantime, I have this. So I'll drop it here. Then we'll move on to one of the small packages here. And let's see what's... I think sometimes the delayed gratification of receiving your package a few months after you actually bought it is pretty cool, because, all of this is a surprise for me too. And, okay. I'm starting to remember a few things here, so, but I'm also getting some doubts, some further doubts. So what we have here instead is the rest. So we have Art and the Sword, Volume 5 and 6, 4, if we can get to 2, we should be good, 3 and 2. So there's the, I think, full collection of Art and the Sword. I don't know for what reason the first issue is in such a different format, but yeah, so it's Volume 1 to 6 at least. This I think is going to be a very cool read. Let's go with the other small one here. I'll use these scissors because I noticed that the unboxing it can get really noisy, so this maybe helps reduce that. And what do we have here? A few of these came in one lot, so not all of them were the most amazing titles, I would think. And I think these 2 smaller ones may be, let's say, the filler in the lot, but we shall soon find out. And filler, I mean it in a very benevolent way. I think all literature about swords is obviously always very welcome and appreciated. So we have this interesting title, I think, which is Sword Collecting for Amateurs. This is basically what a lot of us do. So I see here broadsword, hilts, military and naval swords, African swords, acquiring swords. So might be an interesting little bit of literature. If anything, to see how things were done in when was this published? 1969. So things may have changed a little bit in the time in between. And then we have Swords and Daggers by Frederick Wilkinson. Yeah, the name is a kind of guarantee with sword books. It's very common, and you find a lot of books by him in various editions. I'm not sure if I already have this one or not, but still not bad. And as this was a pretty big delivery, I hope it's not boring for you to watch the unboxing. I never know how unboxing videos are taken by viewers. Some people seem to really like them. I assume some really don't. So if you really hate it, you can skip the video, I would say. Okay, this one I remember ordering. There we go. And here we go. This is the catalog, or at least a book about the arms and armors in the Museo Pol di Pezzoli that is in Milan. So it comes with its dust cover. It's in very good condition. And, oh yeah, it looks like an actual catalog because you can see each of the numbered entries. There are also a lot of photo plates and everything. But what's really cool about this, I'm seeing now, is that each object has a pretty detailed description. And then, of course, you have all of the plates for reference. So, yeah, well, I was expecting this to be a nice book because the collection is pretty amazing. So, not disappointed by that, luckily. Well, let's get this. Sorry, not dust covers, box, I meant. It even has its dust cover, but there we go. And now we have two rather big ones. I think this is 2 books and this is 1. So let's go with the 2 books first. And hopefully it's something interesting. I mean, I did buy them, so you would assume they will be something interesting, at least for me. So let's see what we have here. Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. Using scissors on book packages requires a little more care than you would on sword packages. The books are obviously way more delicate. So what we have here is Storia delle Armi Bianche. This is by Giuseppe De Florentis. I have to say I don't know this book, but it did look interesting. It starts from like Paleolithic era, so it's like a full history, perhaps, of armi bianche in Italian is kind of edged weapons, you could say. Although I see it has some armor here as well. The book looks really nice though, so we'll put it here for now. And the second one in the package here is what I hope will be interesting, is the price guide to antique edged weapons. Of course, consider that this price guide is from by Leslie Southwick, by the way, and was published in, at least this one, I don't know if it's the first edition, but it's from 1982. So we can assume things probably did change. But even here, it's a really nice display of super cool sword pictures of all kinds. And yeah, and maybe the price guide information is actually useful as well, even kind of over 40 years later. Last package is a big one. So we will see what exactly that is. Usually these big format books are really cool coffee table kind of books, which can be really amazing reference books, but they're also nice objects just for display, kind of conversation pieces, if you're hanging out with the kind of people that like to talk about weapons and armor. And this is a volume 1 of Art, Arms, and Armor by Robert Held. This one is really interesting. I don't know about a volume 2, but I jumped on at the opportunity of getting a volume 1 because I'm actually increasingly interested in representation of swords in art. So this seems to me like the perfect reference, or at least one of the perfect reference books. Definitely something that needs to be in your library if that is the kind of thing you're interested in. Very heavy though. So here we go, we'll put that here. And now we'll move on to what I think many of you are waiting for, which are the swords. So I'll have a feel first, just to kind of try and figure out what is what, because I don't really remember, so I think we'll start with this one, but, well, this may not need scissors. So what we have here is, you can already tell there's a little bit of a curve in the blade, unless it broke, but we'll be optimistic here. And see what this saber-like package holds. And yes, it's what I was thinking. We can let's see if I can get it out easily, or if it will require some kind of more work. I think we're there. Okay, so what we have here is a Italian sword, and this is really cool because of the sea monster pommel it has. This, if I'm not mistaken, is a model 1829 and is a sword that had different uses, but we'll go through the details in, of course, its own video. The blade is not in the best shape, as you can see, in terms of bitting and kind of corrosion, but at least the edge is solid. I don't see any nicks or anything, and it's actually sharp, very sharp. Fits, I mean, it's a little loose, but overall in better shape than I thought looking at the pictures. But the reason I got it was to see this pommel, which is very unique and is present on different variants of swords from Italy, basically. So, number 1. Moving on to the second sword. Let's see, I think it will have to be this one. Oh yes, it's this one. I kind of cheated. I just looked through a little tear in the... This one I have to be a little careful because you will soon see why. We already saw one of its kind, but this is another one. So I hope it'll be as beautiful as the one we just saw. I think many of you already recognize this hilt. If you don't, I'll slide it out a little further here. And a little further yet, and what we have here is another Takuba. So if you haven't seen the previous video, maybe you want to see it. This one is definitely different. It comes with its full suspension system, also with a little bit of some fabric here, which I don't know if probably was just used to hold it at some point. The soft leather is still soft, the one I mentioned in the last video, but not as soft. This feels a little more resistant. We'll talk about it again in detail in another video, but let's unsheath it to see what we have here. And this one is, I have to say, rather beautiful. It's very sharp. This is very, very sharp. Has some slight rust spots, but nothing really to worry about here at the tip. It has the half moon symbols that we saw in the previous Takuba, but also in many other Takubas as well. But these are a little bit different. I don't know if I would say more refined, but definitely different. And the fullers are also really interesting. It has 3 fullers, but they look kind of dotted. Anyway, all details we are going to look at in its dedicated video. But this one feels heavier, I think. Maybe more tip heavy, I would say. And actually, the tip is really thick on this one. This one, I think, has a lot of energy in the tip and would do some damage if it hit you edgewise, that's for sure. But let's put this away for now. We will be seeing more of it fairly soon. Does it not fit in its scabbard, or... Let's see, maybe it was the wrong... Yeah, I feel this is maybe a bit better. Anyway, that goes there, and let's move on to the last sword for today. This one I remember a little more what it is because it's a more recent buy. Everything else was from a previous auction, and this is from the one that came after that. So, straight packaging tells us it's not a saber. And let's see what exactly it is then. The reason I bought this sword here, well, there are 2 reasons actually why I bought it, which you will soon see. One is because there's something new to it, at least something we've never seen so far in the videos on this channel. And another reason is because there's actually something we are rather familiar with. So I hope you will enjoy it as much as I think I will. But what we have here is essentially a kind of, I don't really know how to describe it. It's a shearing sword in a sense, but not really, because it also has a sort of kolishmard blade. But unlike most kolishmard blades, it's flat on the edge. It's not like a triple hollow ground section. So this isn't really 3-dimensionally thick. It's just a thickening of the blade. And then here it tapers down, as you would see in many kolishmard style blades, into what is more of a typical spadroon or shearing sword kind of blade. So the blade was definitely, and there are some engravings that I have to make out. These look pretty old. I'm seeing some suns and stars and drums. We're going to look at these in way more detail as soon as possible. It's a very thick blade at the hilt, and a blade that not only have I not seen in person on this channel and showed on this channel, but it's also, this flat kolishmard is just something I have not really seen before, at least not that I can remember. So, and instead, the more familiar reason why I bought this sword, so the thing that kind of I wanted to check and compare to things we already saw, is this tiny finger ring. This is basically a small version of what we see in the Albertinas. And actually, if you look at the shell, at the valves here, it is in that general style. So whether this is a sort of a grandparent or precursor to the Albertina, I do not know, but I thought it was very interesting nonetheless. It has some a lot of remaining gilding, especially on the shells. And even this is a sword we are going to look at in way more detail in its own video. So this was the unboxing. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward to, well, we won't talk so much about the books, but at least these 3 swords. And if especially this sword looks familiar to you and you know some references that kind of remind you of it, or swords that you've seen or own that remind you of this one, please let me know, because I'm very, very curious as to how many of these you find around. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in the detailed videos of these swords. Bye!